From Wound to Scar is the powerful debut book by Marcia Pires. Written to help others heal through her gripping testimony. Join us for the official launch on the 29th of June at 2 p.m. at the Holy Ground in Soweto. (2445-6 Amonk Drive, Zone 6, Diepkloof, Soweto. Be part of this remarkable celebration.
When we say we are women, we mean that we are brave, we are strong, we are capable, we are unique, we are woman to woman.
Hello everyone, good afternoon South Africa, and good afternoon everyone watching from all over the world. Welcome to our podcast, Woman to Woman, and today we have a very, very special episode taking you behind the scenes, launching of the book From Wound to Scar.
And again, they brought me here as a guest, so I would like to welcome all of you for that participation. I'm just interviewed today.
Yes. Yeah, Mrs. Marcia, today is your day again. Sorry, people. Miss Marcia will be with us today, so bear with us. Good afternoon, friends.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. Let us start with our podcast. Where do we start? Because we have questions. Remember, we had our book launch and everything went well, and God blessed the book launch. So we wanted to know from Mrs. Marcia, her expectations, were they met, and what you were expecting, was it the way you expected it when you saw, and did you have some fears, like it might not go well? Just get us.
I don't think we have those fears in South Africa.
No?
As I said, South Africa is home.
Yes.
So it was exactly what we expected and counted for. We just wanted to have the opportunity to sign all the books, and time was not with us because we had to rush. And the most important thing was to be able to address the people that were in Soweto. Even though if they went away without the book signed, they took the message with them.
Yeah.
That was the most important. Then we went back to sign the books. And of course, I would like to say thank you for all of you who made a point of leaving your routine, your Sunday afternoon, and joining us in Soweto for that day.
Yeah, it was a beautiful journey actually, because it was the first time after so many years you've been in South Africa. You would write about this, but not as a book. Yeah. I remember the blog of Mrs. Christiane Cardoso. You would write, but we didn't even know that it was you. Yeah. But now people come to know that actually the blog that we used to see those days, this is the woman who wrote this book. And the beauty of it is that God gave you the opportunity to launch this book here in South Africa, where it is home for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And where it all started, because when I started talking about my story to help other people, it was in South Africa. Mm-hmm. And those who participated of our courses, Nani and you were with us in the courses, remember?
Yes.
Inner healing and Ha'abi,
self-awareness, exactly.
Self-awareness, and Sevatama. We had series of courses. I would speak a little bit about the topics of the book, but it would be one meeting and another meeting and one lesson. Now it was all in here. And the opportunity to launch in South Africa was very special for me because it was here that I started speaking. And of course, when we look at the needs that we have here, the stats of gender-based violence, child abuse, and sexual abuse, and all sorts of conflicts that we have and social injustices, Our work grew in such a way that we helped many women. And I think now we will help many more. Because in other places, women have a platform. Here, we're still growing in that direction. It's not easy to find someone who's going to lobby for the rights of women, who are going to push it in court. Itu is an attorney. And you know how hard it is to bring to sentence if you don't have evidence.
True, that's true.
The complex of the process makes women to even withdraw from seeking help. My objective, and it has been our objective from the beginning, it was more than seeking justice, to offer a platform of rehabilitation. Because eventually that person will not find justice. Years have passed. You don't have evidence. And the person is destroyed. So we focus on how to rehabilitate that person, to make that person to believe that there is still a future. And doing it in South Africa was very special.
I believe, I can.
And doing it in Soweto, home to women in action, woman to woman.
I think our friends have questions as well.
So, Mrs. Marcia, you speak of the launch in Soweto. I'm wondering here, were there any plans that you had that sort of had to change last minute whilst you were preparing for the launch itself?
Not really on my side.
Okay.
I know the producers, the technical team, they had a hard time because they had problems with the banner, they had problems with the lighting of the room, but everything fell into place the way it was supposed to be. On my side, I was in peace. I knew I just needed to get there to sign the books, to address, and it was a very special moment. So everything went all right. We don't make many plans for that. It has to be like this and this and that. We allow it to flow. No?
How was it when you stepped into that venue? Because I remember I was in the venue where you were signing the book. And when you stepped in, how was your sort of feeling like? What was going on in your mind at the time?
It came like it's really happening.
Yes.
And the emphasis is not about me or the book. The emphasis is how many women will you be able to reach through this book. So to be honest and speaking about what we spoke in the workshop, and to be free, because of course you are home, you know your audience, you know the problems they have. It was very, very special for me. And I think I should tell about the highest moment, the high note, isn't that? Because I'm sure you're going to ask.
Yeah.
For me, it was, I decided about the Bible verse just before, because in every presentation I've used one of the Bible verses and I have quoted from the book, a chapter that would be interesting according to that audience. So when I had Soweto, I thought about, during the week in the transmissions we had, I spoke a lot about the problems. And I had in mind, in Soweto, I have freedom to speak about the solution. That's why I say I'm home, né? So I could speak about the solution. So that Bible verse that came in Isaiah 41, it came right in there. And in the moment that I saw the people, but many men there, it came to my mind, they probably came here. And they heard, they were invited, but they didn't hear from God, I have chosen you. And for me, the high note of the event itself, it was when we said, maybe we were praying, my husband and I said, maybe you came here and you don't understand that you have been called, that God has chosen you. You arrived here, don't even know why you are here. You're pleasing someone, you came to accompany someone, but you don't see yourself chosen and God is speaking to you. And if that is your case, come to the front. And I was surprised by the number of people who came to the front in that moment. We think that we are in a church environment, everyone knows the word of God, everyone knows God had chosen them. And it was a reality check. Not everyone had that understanding. And I prayed that they would not hear my voice. They would hear God's voice for them. So the fact that I saw them coming close to the altar, it was like a response to me from God. I did what he wanted. He had prepared for that afternoon, and many heard his voice. So for me, that was the highlight of the afternoon.
I think that's quite important to talk about here, because when you go to a launch, everybody thinks, we all know why we're here.
Yeah.
We bought books, we're standing in the queue,
Please sign.
and the author is going to sign my book.
Yeah.
But when you now, because this book is not necessarily just a book. And I like the fact that, for me, the highlight of this whole book is all these stops at the end of every chapter. Because we have self-help books. We have a lot of self-help books. The market is saturated with them. But many of them don't get to the part that you got to in the book. To say, hey, this is the story. It's horrid. There are gory details, many of which you didn't even talk about. But just so that people can understand that, yes, there was a bad past, there was a sad past, but it doesn't have to define you. And that's why, for me, that's also a special moment when you say, God is talking to you and he has called you here. You didn't just come to a book launch. God decided that on the 29th of June, on a Sunday afternoon in winter, cold in winter, you decided, let me go there. That's not what happened. God decided that you're going to come. And he has something to say to you. And for that to come through and for you to see the result of that calling, when people just melted out of their seats and went to the altar, I think that was magnificent.
And on that note, I don't know if you still remember when Miss Marcia was talking to them, when you mentioned that I'm not here telling my story for you to feel sorry for me.
Yeah.
I think for me that, because many people sometimes they speak about their stories because they want people to sympathize with them. Of course. But you made sure to tell them that so that they might understand that, next time when you have to share your story, you must know that it's to impact someone, not for someone to feel sorry for you. So I think most of them, they took that and they are able to take their own stories as well. Now they're like, no, I'm done with sympathy.
Yeah.
This has been long. Everybody's sympathizing with me and nothing has changed. Now I'm going to take a stand, change my life and impact people with my story.
This is very interesting. Sorry.
So I was about to ask you that question actually when you addressed it, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, what am I going to ask? But now that you've spoken about that part, I think from my side, you are tackling the root cause analysis. Your book is a root cause analysis, whereby I saw also a lot of men going to the front. And if you look around South Africa, we are always bashing men. We are always perpetuating
Hashtag men is
trash. Yes. And I saw from Muntuska addressing what's not being addressed. And someone who's not pro innovation might think that you are giving men the right to be perpetrators. But I saw this book healing men, because for a man to stand up and say, I need help, there is a wound that I need to address. It was so beautiful to see that actually our men do need help. And initially when I saw the book, I thought, okay, it's going to cater for women. It's going to cater for us. We're going to get to...
Only for those who have been abused.
Yeah, and I also didn't see myself relating to the book until what happened on Sunday. That was the first part of me having an open mind to say, no, man, this book is catering for each and every one, and each and every one of us has a story to tell. So at that moment, Ms. Marcia, when you saw, especially I would like to focus on the men, what did your mind think? Because I know that being in the legal fraternity as well plays a huge role. We see women coming forth, as you explained, that their cases are dismissed because there's no admissible evidence. But when you saw men admitting that, yes, we need help, yes, we have wounds that we are carrying in our inside, that moment, what did it define for you?
When we live in a country which 33% of women have been through gender-based violence, it becomes like a mindset among the population that men abusers. We don't give them room, or we don't consider that they might have been through any sort of abuse. Because common sense, women are dying, children are being abused, and there is so much rape. Who is doing that? Men. But we forget that men also could have been victims at a certain stage. They could have been compared, they could have been called names, they could have been brutally beaten in the name of correction, brutally beaten by parents, by guardians. They could have been rejected. You remember where we had the testimony of Taban, when the mother had to choose between who do I leave behind? Who did she choose?
The boy.
The boy. So we look at them as perpetrators. And we forget that they can be victims as well. And also we have a wrong interpretation, and I am not here waiving responsibility, legal responsibility. I'm not endorsing protection to wrong acts. But for someone to commit a crime, for someone to rape, to bash women, this perpetrator is also a victim. Either it's mental illness or emotional scars or the way he was brought up. So he is also a victim. I cannot just put him in jail and say you deserve to die. So when I had that sense of the men in Soweto, I considered in my mind, either they are dealing with the fact that they are doing things they don't like, or they have suffered abuse, because we have to broaden our vision. It's not only women who are abused.
True.
It's not only women who are going through criticism, comparison, bullying, being ridiculed, being disregarded by the family, and how hard it is, for instance, for a man whose wife is going to look at him and say, you're not a man enough. You're not man enough because you don't provide. And that's why I'm finding another one. How destructive it is for a man to hear that. So when I had that in mind, I think it was to encompass all of those. Abused and maybe abusers.
Yeah, so I'll pick up on that before I go back to my other point. So just on that, so we know that men, in fact, people in general, right, you are sort of taught to not show weakness, right? And I suppose, and I think it's what you talk about in the first chapter of your book as well. I saw somewhere where you said you had to learn to swallow your tears because you became such an independent person, and to try and hide everything that was going on. And living in a world where you are sort of taught that, you know, when you swim with the sharks, you don't bleed. So don't show weakness in a way. Men often have that as well, to say, if I dare say that I am facing a challenge, how will I be seen in society? Now, my question to you is that, how do you strike a balance, both men and women, how do you strike a balance between understanding that there are some battles that you need to fight on your own, and that there's things that you would actually need to ask for help? How do you know, a sort of gauge, at what point do I seek help? Or what can I do to sort of find the help that I need? Where do you sort of strike a balance?
It's very simple. How much is it being painful and destructive in one's life?
Okay.
If you go through an experience and, okay, it shook you somehow, but you manage to overcome it and forget, and it doesn't interfere in your decisions, it doesn't interfere in the way you see yourself, somehow you learned to overcome it. But if it is constantly in your mind, determining even your next decisions, the way you see yourself, and no one takes into account a very sad reality. When you look at the stats of suicide in South Africa, male is predominant. And why? Because they carry this burden. You cannot ask for help. You are weak. You look like a baby, a crying girl. And we're not giving them the space to speak. And that is what is causing so much trouble because, of course, if they have to interiorize something they're going through, and all of a sudden they are bottling up, one day they will explode. How? They'll be violent, they will throw themselves, under the car, they will maybe rape. Understand, rape has nothing to do with physical attraction.
That's true.
It's proven.
Yeah.
Rape, it is a way to impose and exercise authority. So it comes from someone who is somehow insecure. And to impose his authority, he needs to take by force. So what is happening with this person? What I wanted to say, I'm not here endorsing impunity.
Never.
That has to be very clear. But also we need to look into someone who's doing something bad and try to see what is behind it. How was he brought up? What was the experience he had? And unfortunately, many cases of rapes, the perpetrator had been raped himself. And our mind does not go there. You only look at the fact and judge.
The end product.
And
which is
talking about men, since we are talking about men, I was just thinking that when I saw them there, that those who are even new, like who are not our church members, because some were not church members, you could even tell that they are new. For me, even if they were about to do that, just because of what you said there, it has healed them and helped them that they won't do what they were going to do. Because sometimes you find people, they are planning to do something, as you said, sometimes out of insecurity, sometimes out of anger. So because of the meeting they participated in, even if they do not have the book, because of what was said there, I believe that most of them will change and become better men.
I pray that's the intention, that we can, young and old, men and women, they may be touched somehow, because I speak about different challenges that I had and people commonly had. If we're going to ask about our backgrounds and challenges, each one of us have a story here. We had to deal with some difficult moments, weaknesses, insecurity, complexes in the past. So I hope that they received something.
And just to echo what Mrs. Name said, the book itself is structured in a way that it is very solution-based. So you have parts, so it starts with what happened, the incident, and then goes on to talk about the solution. So essentially, this is my past, this is where I am now, and sort of saying, let me take you with, let me show you how I've done it. And that I find interesting, because I think for most people, if you read a lot of self-help books, like you said, they're very... The story is about, theoretical. What I feel, and when I read it, I feel sad myself, because I'm thinking, oh, this happened.
Depressing.
Yes, it doesn't give you that hope. And speaking of hope, when you're doing the book launch, when you're signing the books in that venue, I noticed that obviously there was a long queue and everyone was walking in. Queue. But every time you signed a book, you had a smile in your face. Now let's think of a situation. I mean, I'm sure we've all been in a situation where someone had to take a picture of you. And then something happens with the camera, but you still need to be there smiling. Already you feel like, your jaws are a bit tired. Now imagine having to sign through books with that expression. And I think for me, it sort of caught my attention, because I thought to myself, every person who was getting their signature on the book had to not only get the book signed, but they got to have hope from your expression as well when you were signing the book. It gave them hope even before they read a copy, and even when I started interviewing people about what they've seen or what the experience is from the book, they would tell me that, it is very solution based. And I think that's the important thing about the book, to say when you read it with the sense that it isn't just about necessarily the acts or the situation that was there in the past. It is more about, how do you look to the future? How do you go forward? How do you move on from now to where you want to see yourself? And it is very much possible. So I'm wondering if it was ever, in terms of the structure of the book, was it purposeful for it to be like that?
That's the funny part of it, they say the writer of the book, but I'm not a writer. I was just the author of this book, and I don't know if it will come another one. Please. I didn't have a structure.
Okay.
I didn't have a format. And sometimes they say, "You holding me curious." There was one person there in Soweto that said, "I couldn't stop reading because I wanted to know the end." Because and she was editing the book. She was
Proofreading.
proofreading the book.
So then we need to ask you the question.
Yeah, the question.
So then it was not intentional.
Okay.
When I was told you have to write this book, I said, "Oh my gosh, where do I start?" I'm not a person who attends to details. I am very direct in what I say. So how am I going to tell a story? I don't remember. It was raining. It was not. I don't know how to write a romance. And I was sitting looking at the computer and say, where do I go from here? And I started, and there were changes, and there was change of formats during the exercise. However, one thing I had from the beginning, it cannot be my story.
Yeah.
Because when we see testimonies, and that is what we work with, the testimony needs to encourage someone else who is in that situation to know that there is hope.
Yes.
So only telling my story and saying to the world, I overcame. Okay, but what do you take for yourself?
Yes.
What is the encouragement that I can give to you that whatever you're going through, you are going to overcome? So then that idea came to mind. Why I don't put in the book those small exercises that I was doing and I was not aware that God was actually giving me homework, and I was doing those exercises of introspection and making decisions and trying to find something good in me, something profitable. Why I don't put it in the book? Because whoever reads will not only look at me and say, oh, shame, she's been through that. Whoever... I need to empathize with people because there is hope for a change and not because of suffering.
Yeah.
We are not here competing who suffered more, but I'm here to tell there is a way out. And there is a common saying that once you have been to any trauma or to any traumatic experience, any abuse, you will never forget it.
Yeah.
So there is a mindset that you will never forget it. And I want to show that it is possible to forget it and to use to help others.
And you signed a lot of books.
Yes.
How is your hand? Like, do you have any idea of how many books you've signed, and how is your hand? Everybody would like to know that.
There is a projection. I didn't do the projection. I didn't sign. I didn't count the books I was signing. But there was a projection that it was over 1,000 books.
I wouldn't
Right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. And I was motivated.
And your wrist, your hand. You know, those who did history, they know very well. You have to take a lot of notes, and you get tired with just a page or two. Imagine signing 1,000 books.
I think I was in the joy of the moment, because every person that I saw in front of me, I saw like a possibility that someone will be benefited.
And I'm glad that my niece was the first person who signed the book in Soweto. Yes, she arrived in Soweto 9:30.
Oh, gosh.
And when she saw me, she said, "Auntie, I signed the book," and I was the first one in the queue.
Shame. I have to congratulate all those who stood in the queue.
And they looked so happy. I think that's the difference, because you know, sometimes you're there, you have your book, books for some people.
Yes. Some people are signing for books.
Yeah. And you're just sitting there waiting for your turn. But people were happy.
Indeed.
I think, Ms. Namatu, to add on your point, I saw what we call a Rainbow Nation in South Africa, where people come together for a certain cause. And this cause is beautiful because it gets to tackle what's inside. You know, it's so beautiful that we get it for soccer, we get it for weddings, we get it for all these events. Even for funerals. But we've never came for a cause whereby we admit that we need healing. healing. And when I was looking at the cues in Soweto, that came to my mind that look at how beautiful this is. This is a rainbow nation. We are coming together for a common cause, but not just your regular decular cause, but a cause that will define the future of this country, because South Africa does need healing. So I just thought I should echo that because you reminded me of that before I forget.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, we have many NGOs, we have many movements in South Africa, and they all say the same thing. We have a problem. This problem needs to be resolved.
It's a pandemic.
It really is. It's scourge. But I think the special thing with this book, and I'm going to read something that's on the cover at the back, because it explains where my mind is.
Okay, before you read that, we have a promo of our book launch. So let us have a look at that.
After crossing borders and steering hearts in Brazil and Portugal, the message finally came home.
Why scars? Those of you who have been through any sort of accident, those of you who have burnt yourself cooking. When that happens, it's so sore, it's so painful, isn't that? You have to take painkillers, you have to do the ointment, you have to follow the treatment of the doctors. Once it heals, you look at that scar, you remember what happened, but it doesn't pain anymore. That is what God wants to do with you.
So, Bishop, I know that you've been married for more than 30 years. How has it been being part of Miss Marcia's healing process throughout 30 years?
Well, the healing process was not that long. I think the first year, less than 1 year, everything was like settled. Because when we got married, she had already overcome.
From Wound to Scar isn't just a book, it's a mirror, a voice, a lifeline. And this launch, it's not stopping here. We're taking it to the provinces because every woman deserves to hear this message.
All right, now I'd cut Nami. So over to you, Nami.
Yes, as I was saying, we have a lot of NGOs, we have a lot of books. But again, I like the fact that this book does something different. Because let's face it, we've had this problem in this country for a long time. Some of it lends to the fact that the dynamic we have between men and women is different in South Africa. Let's be honest. In South Africa, in Africa, the way we see men, the way we see women, and the rights, perceived rights that men have as opposed to women, these things are really tricky. But that's our reality. That's what we're living with. But then comes this book that just shatters a lot of that stuff, because it says, "You're a man. We see you. You need an outlet. We're here. You're a woman. You don't know where to go. We see you. We hear you. We're here." And that's something that's so different, because I'm not taking away from the fact that people will picket. They'll go to support people when they have these problems in court and all these places. That's okay. It helps the victim to see that somebody is with me and they stand with me, especially when many people like to just sweep things under the rug. So you have something that says, no, let's not sweep it under the rug. Let's talk about it. And no, let's not tell him he's a man. He has to man up. Let's talk about it. Let's give him his platform. Let's give him his outlet. Because you said something earlier that because they have to bottle so much inside them, they explode, and the explosion is never beautiful.
No.
So the book says here at the end, "From Wound to Scar is an invitation to reflection and hope. A testament that despite the scars of the past, it is always possible to start over and discover a new purpose for living." because abuse is consuming.
Yeah.
I think you said something in the book about that day being marked in the calendar, even if it's a supposed calendar in your mind, but that day does not come out of your calendar. And then you have this book that tells you, yeah, I had that calendar too. Yeah, it destroyed my life for a long time. Yes, it morphed me into somebody I wasn't, but I broke free. And now I'm saying, like what Adila said, now I'm saying, take my hand, and I'm going to walk you out of this and give you a new purpose, a new reason for living. You don't have to be defined by the abuse anymore. For me, this is what the book does. I mean, I've read it how many times now?
You were proofreading. I think you read each chapter 3 times.
Yeah, I did them 3 times. I'm on the 4th read. And still, I keep taking something new from it every time. Now, thankfully, I'm reading it at my pace, at my own pace. So I don't have anybody going, how you done? Can I send you more chapters? So now I'm reading it at my own pace. And this is what I really wanted. I wanted to consume it on my personal level, at my own pace, with my own speed. And I've noticed that I am highlighting a lot of things.
That's what happened.
I highlight and I make notes, and it's so engaging for me. And I like it because you don't have to wallow in self-pity and sadness and being shattered. Yes, you have been like that, and that's okay. But now we can do something different.
Yeah.
For me, this is the book for me. It's
Somehow there is a notion of what we read in the Bible, the sister to David. If you go back there to Tamar, and that's why our project was named Save Tamar, because the half-brother abused her, and in those days it was critical. She could not get married anymore. And the brother said, it is your brother. And the Bible reads like this. And Tamar was left in the house of the brother, desolated.
Yeah.
That is in the Word of God. And that is the perception of the victim.
Yeah.
She is a victim. She is marked to live desolated for the rest of her life. So even when she thinks that there is a possibility, someone else will come and remind her. If not someone else, herself will remind her, you're not like her. You're not like her. Look at you, what happened to you. And that men go through this. And I often say that for men it's even more difficult because women are abused for the fact that they are women. Men are abused and now they question their sexuality, their identity. But someone said, live desolated. Live like this for the rest of your life. So they still get married, they still have children. And I know cases that they have one identity for the family, but their true identity, they're thinking about suicide day and night. And she's married, she has kids, adult kids, and no one knows what goes on inside of her. It's one of the cases that I'm trying to help. So all of a sudden, God told me, because I had the same mentality, I made wrong decisions because I would see myself in the light of the abuse. That put me into domestic violence. And I thought I didn't have any better future. I had to live with this. So when I came to God, God was the one who said, no, you are not that one. You are not the one whose abuse defined you. You are the one, that young little girl who had dreams and purpose. And I am your dream. I am your purpose. So then, because I went through the whole process, I want people to find out they don't need to be defined by what happened. They can't deny it happened. However, they don't need to live as victims anymore. They have to survive.
Especially in this world that we are living, where we are told or we are taught to hide our scars. So this book shows that healing is possible. It is really possible. Now, I have questions for some of my friends.
No, but I think she wants to make a question.
All right, over to you, and I'll come back.
She came prepared.
I came prepared too.
Oh, gosh.
Because there I can zoom in.
So, Miss Marcia, in the book you mentioned that you did acknowledge the abuse and you speak about it. Yeah. And then you said there was one thing that you didn't do, that was to conquer yourself. Mm-hmm. I want you to elaborate on that statement. What is to conquer yourself? Because obviously someone will be like, no, it has to do with abuse. You had to acknowledge that. Cool. But for someone who's in corporate, for someone who's a teacher, for someone who has a problem at work, and you define abuse in different categories, that it's you being called a fool, it's you being labeled, it's you being bullied, and all of that, those sum up to abuse. Yeah. But obviously society has societal standards on how abuse, they define it in the intensity as opposed to something social like someone saying you're a fool. That's technically abuse because it makes you think of yourself in a different light. So when I was reading that part, it got to me, say, but what did she mean when she said she had to conquer herself? So can you please elaborate on that statement?
After the abuse, not knowing how to deal with that, I became an overperformer. Actually, not after the abuse, from the beginning. I had to please my grandparents, so I had to do more. I could not bring them problem. I could not express myself. I could not decide what I wanted. If they would tell me, you do this, yes, because I was living there out of a favor. They were not supposed to take care of me. So then, after being to abuse, I gave myself more into achievements because I would not see my value as a person. I thought that my value needed to be linked with what I could achieve. I could never believe that I would have a friend that would like me for who I am. Because I would look at myself and say, you are horrible. You don't have what to offer. So my way of keeping a friendship is, what can I do for you? So there is this assignment I will do for you. And of course, you're going to be grateful. And you're going to say, you're a great friend. That was good for me.
It's like you would buy friendship.
I would buy friendship. I would excel in my workplace. I was the first one to arrive, the last one to leave. I would do more than what was expected. My scope of work, I would even go to other areas, learn it, because in that way, I would feel better. So I would project my value through the things I conquered. I was in the corporate world. I had companies, I had 2 shops, I had my salary rated in dollars. I conquered everything, but I was still very broken inside. I was not that powerful woman that people would look at and say, oh, anything you give to her, she will resolve. I would resolve companies' deals. I would resolve people's problems, but I was not able to resolve my own. Who was Marcia? A broken girl, trying to please and to conquer, not what people would see. So I conquered everything, but I had not conquered myself. Because when I would look inside, I would see someone broken, without perspective, living out of favor, not being beautiful, not being intelligent, and whatever I conquered would not convince me that I was not that person.
Yeah, and what you are saying here, I'm just thinking that sometimes parents, they have kids and they see a child fighting so much to always conquer. And they think, oh, my child is being good and all that. Sometimes they don't know that there is a root behind that. So they are just cheering up for the child instead of sitting down and wanting to know what is behind that so much achievement. And maybe you can even help your own child, because sometimes people hide, as you were saying, you would hide behind that, all those achievements. Sometimes even when you have achieved, you wouldn't even be fulfilled.
No.
So sometimes we have kids who are like that, and parents do not even notice that.
Parents notice very much underperforming.
Exactly.
You have a child who's underperforming, there's something wrong.
Quite right.
But they don't understand the difference of overperforming. And of course, we have children who like to study. We have people who is passionate for research and they don't mind.
And it doesn't mean that they were abused or something is wrong with them.
That's normal. But you see the difference when you had to finish this up to here, okay? Here is the difference that parents sometimes and teachers do not realize. You were supposed to finish up to here today. You had a task, and here was what you were expected to do.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you didn't do, or you did even a bit more, but you didn't go up to here.
Yeah.
Normal people would say, I'll carry on tomorrow. Overperformers who are compensating for something will say, no, I have to do it, does not matter what is at stake. My health, my time, I leave my husband, I leave my parents, I will cry, I'll have tantrums, I will think about suicide because I didn't do this the way I thought I had to do. This was expected. I did up to here, more. But for me, I had to do this.
Yeah.
And it's killing me. So I would not have limits. I would not sleep well, because by that time I was studying at night. I would do varsity at night. I would get home at 11:30 and later. I would wake up very early. I would be the first one in the office. I would not go out for lunch. I would not stop for coffee break. And I would be studying inside the bus so that I could deliver my assignments, because holding a full-time job with responsibility is hard. And over the weekends, I would do the same. And I would need to cater for this ex-fiancé and be there, because I didn't want him to point out that I was not doing this, I left this unattended. So, when you do something that it's beyond what is natural, that is a sign. There are kids who love to study. Please, don't start looking at your kids and say,
exactly.
What happened to you?
It's just sometimes we have, as parents, I'm talking to parents now, it's very good to observe your children, where there is a change of behavior, something is going on. So as a parent, you need to be attentive to the behavior of your children.
And whatever is not normal. Whatever is not normal, it needs to pick attention.
Exactly.
I also like the fact that it's addressing even overachievers. That I think society has put a name tag to say if you're an underachiever, there's something wrong with you. And then we look at the overachiever, the hardworking one. They don't understand the root, that there might be a problem. I'm trying to compensate for something that I'm going through. That maybe at home I come from a broken family. And because I don't want my friends at school to find out about that, then I'm going to be an overachiever. I'm going to be a teacher's pet, as we are called, you are smart and everything. So I really like that part, to say you are addressing both sides of the story, to say, though there is a problem also with an overachiever, because they're trying to compensate. They're trying to buy in to say, I have a scar, I have a wound rather, but I don't want the world to know about it. So it's really nice.
Just look at the great minds of this world. And I'm not going to go there to give names. Okay, but just look around the great minds of this world. You will see that there is intelligence, there is money, but you notice insecurities even in the way that she carries herself. 5, 6, 7 marriages broken. They can't stay with anyone. It's a sign. It's not normal.
And this is interesting because I think as well with, as you go on with the book, you speak of how it changed, how the abuse changed you, the way that you used to dress, for example. So you started wearing dark colors, nude,
brown, black, and beige.
Yes. But you also mentioned that you had a friend who went the completely opposite way. So they dealt with whatever situation they were in completely opposite. So they would basically want to show off their bodies more. They wanted to use men as well, whereas you were more on the hiding side of things, which then shows that someone can go either extremes.
It's
right?
the extreme.
So it's not a matter of saying there's some a child is being abused, therefore they shall behave a certain way. So they might go the extreme opposite, and you would think to yourself, oh, she's just a bubbly child, or she's just and extrovert or she's just out there. But that behavior could probably signal something else that is deep within them. So, yeah, that's very interesting.
Imagine this friend of mine. I think we were 15. And 15 today, it's a different pattern. I'm talking about, 3 decades, 4 decades.
Yeah.
Okay.
When 15 was a good girl kind of time.
And we would study in a very strict school, German school. So can you imagine a 15-year-old, 14 to 15-year-old wearing eyelashes? The ones that you buy in the pharmacy. The fake ones, not natural, artificial eyelashes. Long nails, not her nails. She would already do gelish nails, colorful, and have makeup, and because we wouldn't have uniform. We were already in the secondary. What would be here grade 10, 11, 12. So it was the beginning of grade 11. So we wouldn't have uniform. We would have normal clothes, but very tight clothes. And 7 o'clock in the morning, full makeup on.
Sure. A schoolgirl.
She was very beautiful, but it was not a natural beauty that would be compared to any of the other girls. It was
overdone.
accentuated, and no one noticed. I think her mom didn't know what happened, and she would only speak about beauty, what she would do, and whom she was. The conversation was that.
Yeah.
And I would be the opposite. And of course, I would look at her and I would look at her and say she was beautiful. You see? And maybe she was looking at me and say, I wish I could be.
Yes. Exactly.
And we didn't know much what by then had happened with both of us.
Let us have the interviews of our people's experiences. Let us watch.
My name is Venkas Banyoni. I'm from the region Tembisa. And I was so excited about reading the book because with me, can you understand that the book is about the wounds, from the wound to scar? But I read that as a mother, you don't have to teach your children, whatever you teach the children, you don't have to be abusive to them.
I honestly, when I heard that there is a book launch, I was so excited because I believe that I can resonate with that.
What resonates with me from the book is rejection. I faced rejection from a young age from the family that raised my mother, because biologically they were not related to her. They just took her in and raised her. So me and my siblings grew up in this family where we felt that most of the time, because of the talks, we could sense that we do not belong. We are not part of this family.
The book, Wound to Scar, will help a lot of people in South Africa, but it will also help the young men of our country of South Africa who have been crying silently and unaware to voice their concern, because when they voice their concern, it's like a weakness to them. They even sometimes commit suicide. They even go to do things that are wrong. And the worst part is when this person, particularly boys, they get involved maybe with a lady, and then when he goes out, he start now to appear what he was facing in the past, and then he start to take all that to the person he is with him, just like in the case of many. And then when you dig deep, you find out the past of this person. He once faced this thing, and so I think that it was the right thing, that the way he grew up, the way he grew seeing it. So this book will change the mind of many people, viewing the way they're supposed to handle themselves, they're supposed to handle another people. Yes.
Different stories, one shared experience, and it's only just unfolding.
All right, I have a question for my dear friend here.
Because she was interviewing.
Yes, because she's the one who was interviewing people. And the time of the book launch, did you have a moment that you felt like you were feeling emotional or inspired? Can you share that with us, please?
Yes, I did. And that moment was when I interviewed a man because the perception obviously initially was that the book was for women. So when I got an input from a man, and they were saying how, because I asked them the question, what do they think would be the impact of the book on men in general in South Africa? And they were saying that it's so important because men generally don't think they need help. They generally don't speak out. So when you are told as a man to maybe seek help, becomes something very difficult because it hits on your ego, it hits on your sort of pride in a way. So, but what he was saying was that it would have such a great impact because it will give them the understanding that, firstly, abuse is not just stereotypical in the sense that it's just, me hitting my wife, for example, or that sort of thing. But it speaks to a lot of things. It speaks to insecurities within men as well. So I think that for me, that response or that interview for me made me, think about things. It switched something on in me to say, men also go through that. And a book like this would be super, super helpful for them.
That's true. Thank you. Thank you for your answer.
So here it is, the advertisement. Men should also read that.
Yes, yeah. Do you have any question for anyone?
I do for it too.
Oh, good.
I do.
You said.
You do as well for her?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Just Grimes.
You said yourself that when you first heard about the book, you did not identify.
Yeah.
Sort of. Haven't been through abuse, haven't been through any sort of problem like that. This is for women who had been through such situations.
Yeah.
When did it change? And what is your perception now after reading it? I don't know if you finished, how far you are, but...
I knew it was coming. So Miss Marcia, if you remember, we were part of those who were hyping up the book.
Yeah.
That's because, it's something great. It's a great initiative, record-breaking, as it's close to home, as you said, and Soweto, the holy ground. And, okay, fine. Saturday happened. Sunday happened. And I remember I changed into my traditional gear, and I went inside. And you came on and you started speaking. And then the moment for me that sealed it all, it's when you called everyone. But you had first spoken about God chose you. And I know there's a lot of people who don't understand what that means to say God chose you. In the Bible, there's a reference where it's Philip, where God says, I saw him before he even knew.
True.
And I know there are many people who came there with the perception that, it's a book launch, you're going to get there, and I'm going to have my book signed by the author, and that's it. But the moment you stepped onto to the altar and you started addressing how it came about and the emotional attachment that had to you, I started thinking deep that there is more to the book. And when I saw, again, I'll go back to my point, when I saw men going to the front, Ms. Marcia, for me, it meant this book is a root cause analysis. We are going into spaces, we are tapping into spaces that everyone in South Africa, rather in the world, they're not going that route. Everyone is ostracizing man to say, you're the perpetrator, you need to pay the price, there's something wrong with you. But no one took this a minute to say, no, there is something that leads you to doing that. Let's address that. So for me, I said, okay, there's a man who's acknowledging his wrong. And there's a woman as well who's acknowledging that there is a problem with me and I need to sort it out. My mind, the penny hit, and I said, okay, I have to read the book. I have to read the book because how can it be that for a man to openly say, I have a problem, it takes a lot, Miss Marcia. Men are built to be Men are built to be strong. Men are built to be, I'm a provider. Therefore, I cannot expose my flaws, especially in an open space like where we were in the church. And I remember even praying and I said, this is a record-breaking book, because not only does the author address women, but she identifies with everyone to say each and every one of you, there is a piece of you in this book. And I started reading. And you say in that book, in that part, in that piece, that you couldn't identify with that person. It's the page there. And I was reading and I was like, yeah, most books in the world actually teach you to be a victim, to overcome. True. And then I went on to the space where you speak about how to overcome or how to conquer yourself. That's when I identified with the book now. Said, oh, now you're speaking to me. There are certain things that I need to conquer about myself. There are things that I need to realign with myself. And that was a defining moment for me. That was, it addresses each and every person in the room. It's not focusing only on someone who experienced abuse. It's not focusing on someone who comes from a broken home. It focuses on every aspect of life. And I identified myself with that. And as I go along reading the book, as Miss M mentioned, that the reflection of having to write down your notes. You take a moment, because normally when you read a book, you just read and you read and you read, but no author has ever taken the moment to say, you have digested this, write it down. And it's like a challenge, because you really need to think deep about yourself. You need to uproot certain things about yourself. Certain things that you never knew that they existed, you know? So for me, the book, as I think I had written in one of my posts, that it eliminates the victim mentality. It's a guide to how to be an overcomer, but not a victim type of person. So that was it for me, my journey.
And, talking about that the book caters for everyone. I think it's in page 140. I just
gosh, they know my heart now.
Page 140. I even screenshot my notes here where you highlighted that.
You remember this?
Yes, page 140. You can open that. Yeah.
I think
it says that when a person possesses something truly valuable, whether it's financial, emotional, or spiritual, we treasure it. We value how we got it, and we protect it. For me, even though I've never been through abuse, this part, I think it spoke volumes to me. And that's why I can encourage even people who've never been abused to read this book, because for me, it spoke to me, especially here where you say we value and treasure when we have something very valuable to us. And this made me think so many people are quick to protect either their position, their names, and all that, but
their conquests.
Their conquests in general, or even their assets. But we often forget to protect the most important thing, which is my salvation and my relationship with God. So this is what this part taught me, that though I've not been abused, but it spoke to me in a spiritual way that I must protect my salvation and my relationship with God as much as I would like to protect my assets, my whatever I treasure in my life. But the most important thing is my salvation. So people who are going to buy this book, even if you've never been through abuse, this can help you in a spiritual way as well.
You draw a point that I didn't think of, because here I throw the challenge of making one to think that we were given with the gift of life for the past 24 hours.
Yes.
And what we have done with it. No? And spiritually,
for me, spiritual speaking, it came because I'm like, I've never been abused, I've never been through that, but it spoke to me in a spiritual way that the way people would like to protect their things, sometimes we protect our treasures more than our own salvation and our relationship with God.
Nami, what was the highlight for you?
Yes,
because I know my friend wants to finish.
Okay. First of all, you looked beautiful. Okay, let's just put it up there. I mean, I saw you. I looked at you. I was like, oh my goodness, it's so pretty. But for me, I think more than everything that was happening, the thing that I keep thinking about is, wait, how did it take 8 years to do this? Because you said something about it having taken 8 years.
No, actually, it was not. It was in those days after that when Rahab came to be revealed. She's the one and all that. Then I was told, you have to write your story. You have to write your testimony. So I did. And I reviewed. And I looked at it again. I had no idea. And I sent to the publisher in Brazil. And it got lost. And we never spoke about that. I never spoke about it ever again.
Oh my goodness.
And it's okay. So it was not interesting.
God's timing.
Yeah, right? In my mind, it was not interesting. It was not my, how can I say? I was not consumed by the fact I need to publish this book. I wrote it. It was not published. Life goes on. No? Then, last year, when we had our visitors here, then I was put against the wall. When are you going to do it? And I looked and I said, but I have done it. And I have sent it. Oh, they looked the place up and down. And they call back and say, there is nothing here.
Oh, gosh.
I said, but I have a draft of it. And then in 6 months, the book is printed, translated, English, Portuguese, launched, and it was so quick.
God's time is the best.
I am sure that it was in God's time.
I agree.
Yeah.
And in the first version, I had to write someone close to my family because my uncle was still alive. And it was not a matter of, oh, I had to hide it. It was a matter of, why am I going to bring grievances and expose him? I didn't have anything against him. So now in this final version of it, which I had to review, and again it was a fast of Daniel, and I was asking God to, and I did some changes, some updates of information. Then I could openly say that it was him. And to my surprise, because I had spoken that openly, even in the launch in Brazil, I had a cousin of mine whom I haven't seen for the past 40 years. I left Brazil. She was quite young. Now she's married, mother of 2. And she's also in ministry in another denomination. And when she read it, she was so shocked. She called her mother, she called her sisters, because as a matter of fact, he was the one that everyone would take into respect and regard. And she even came to the launch of the book in Brasilia. So I managed to see her. And she was crying compulsively. And I said, don't cry. Because she was shocked. And if it was 80 years before, I would not be so open. And some of the things that I wrote by the end, it came with the maturity. So it was God's timing.
Right.
So, sorry, last question.
Yes.
So when you started the work with the women, the initiatives that we have right now, was the purpose, did you think about sharing your story, or when it started, were you thinking of it being, your story being part of the whole initiative, or did you just start and then along the way you then realized, oh, actually I can share my story? How did it work?
No, they were with me right in the beginning. So, of course, to create some bond with the audience, I needed to say, I've been through that.
Okay.
Because imagine that it is a subject that people don't like to speak about. In church environment, then someone comes and tells you, you have to forgive. You can overcome. Who is she? Where does she come from? Maybe she had a perfect life. So I had to let them know I was speaking out of my own experience. But my focus had always been through the steps to help them. And they have participated of the courses we did. They did also the courses on their own. So I would speak about that, but not that I did it because of my story. My story was just an element to, to connect
with them.
So that they would give attention. Because remember, we're talking about 15 years. Who would speak about that inside the church? how would you come and say and have meetings? And we had marches on the street against abuse, break the silence. You can come and talk to us, and people would look and say, talk to who?
Yeah.
They are pastor's wives. They had a perfect...
They had a perfect life. Look at them. They're princesses of the church. And they don't know
nothing about life. Then we start speaking about... Then we start speaking about being abused. The other one tried suicide. She was a model. And people go, wow, what is this?
And you know, the funny thing now, you're reminding me something. I remember when I was in another country, one pastor's wife said to me, Miss Toko, I didn't even know that you even know how to hold a wooden spoon to cook. Because you look so fragile. So she was shocked when I was there cooking for the auxiliary pastors, a lot of them. She's like, my God, these small hands.
So I needed to speak about what I've been through to be able to connect. And then other pastors' wives came and spoke about their stories. So then people stopped and say, oh, they have what to tell me. But always in all the courses we did, inner healing, Seva Tamar, the focus was always, don't look at me. Know that I've been through, but look at, you can. That was the message always, that now became the book. So the movement started before. Then it came the book.
Because there were many movements.
The silence.
We're about to close now.
Can I just give my takeaway on this book? I find it on page 97.
Now I need to go
when
back.
you say you're talking about the cycle of abuse here between love and pain, and you say something that I think just coins the book for me. You're saying, all these years, God has been trying to tell you, I did not forget you. I have engraved your name on the palm of my hand. But in your heart, you've blamed him for everything that has happened. Is it fair to hold God responsible for a man's choice to exploit your innocence? Let God be the protective father you so desperately need right now. And the last thing that I think just closes it off for me, you say it was during one of the darkest times in my life that I turned to God. And for me, that's my takeaway on the book. Yes, we'll take you through the different stops. We'll take you through the different steps. We'll tell you how this happened. You share your story. You share your breakthrough. You're saying, come with me. Let me show you how to do it. But there was a formula. And that formula starts and ends with God. And look, we can talk until we're blue in the face.
What people may say otherwise. We respect professionals in the area. But I don't know another way, and I'm writing about my story. So I think I have the right to speak about what I
their
do.
own story.
So I don't know another way, because when I was in the deepest of my sorrow, I didn't know the word of depression as we know today. But what is it if not walking midnight on the streets of São Paulo alone, without a destination, just contemplating Christmas lights on the streets, midnight alone, if it's not depression?
It is.
So, and then becoming a punching bag, and then having to deal with losing companies and having my name blacklisted and being in the hands of shark loans, which is not a legal business in Brazil. It's very violent, being threatened. I was really, at the end, I would not be alive. Being thrown, or almost thrown, from the 17th floor of a building twice. Being furnitures thrown on me. So I have seen close to death. It was the worst moment. And I would not see God as a father. Because why did he allow me to go through that? And I had something wrong. That not even God could help me. And it was when I saw him first as God. It was a process as well. I came to the church, and during my deliverance and dealing with things, I always see him as Lord. until I understood him as a father. Yeah. There was sort of a barrier until I could, break trust and see him as a father.
Yeah. That is why it's good to have a relationship with God.
Yeah.
Because He's the only one who can heal the wound that nobody can heal, So unfortunately, we have come to the end of our podcast. We don't want to go.
No, we don't.
Ladies, thank you so much for participating and for your questions. Mrs. Marcia, thank you so much.
It's pure joy.
And to our viewers, if you don't have your copy yet of the book From the Wound to Scar, get your copy because you are missing out. All right? Get your copy. Go to the nearest Universal Church and get your book, or go to our bookshop. Then you will get your copy and you will share with us your experience of reading the book. Unfortunately, we have come to the end of our podcast, but it was good having this podcast, and we didn't want to go as well, but they are chasing us away.
So tomorrow I will be in KZN from 9 o'clock in the morning in our cathedral, 465 Smith Street. Is this the right address? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it's changed.
Yes, it's Lembede.
Okay, I'm still from the time of Smith Street and you too.
Smith Street, I was there in Smith Street. That was 1997.
In Durban, 9 o'clock in the morning with the signing of the book and a special workshop. The following Saturday, the 19th, isn't that? Cape Town, 9 Batekan Street, 9 o'clock in the morning.
Didn't change the address. It's still
Saturdays in a row. And we will go into other provinces. Yeah. So watch for more dates. But for now, tomorrow, KZN, 9 in the morning. And next Saturday, Cape Town, 9 in the morning. To give you the opportunity also, not necessarily to have the book signed only, but to participate of our workshop. And just to add something, Toko,
yes,
they might ask, but where do I share my experience? Where do I ask for help? Here in the last page, we left our contacts, email and helpline and cell phone number that you can get in touch with us and you can be helped. And that's it on my side.
That's it. On my side too. We are done. God bless you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
What's good, fam? Today was the first of many launches of our series of the From Wound to Scar. We have Miss Marcia here with some of the VYG fam, and we're here presenting to you guys another challenge. You know, in the VYG, we love ourselves a young challenge, so we're here to bring to you guys another challenge.
Here we challenge the fam to come with their t-shirts, their uniforms, but with, a little sense of tradition. Now we're heading to KwaZulu-Natal, and I wonder what you guys from VYG fam will prepare for the 12 at 9 o'clock. So guys, should we pass on the challenge?
Definitely. Yes. Definitely. They are Amabutu for crying out loud. They should show us exactly what they have.
They call themselves Amabutu, man.
Yes, they do.
They call themselves.
They do, all the time.
So the challenge is now on you guys. Durban Pietermaritzburg. We meet on the 12 at 9 o'clock, and we really want to see your creativity. Joburg has done it. Yes or no?
Yes.
Very sorry.
Ooh, what's that? From the grounds. Well, you have heard it yourself from Mrs. Marcia. The challenge has been passed to KZN and we are ready and prepared. Come and unbox this with me. Hey VYG fam, you might as well have guessed it, the books are here. If you have pre-ordered from Durban, come get yours, and if you still want to get your copy, you can come as well. So on the 12th of July, we're going to have Mrs. Marcia as well here with us in Durban, KwaZulu-Natal, to be doing the official sign-ups. You don't want to miss it. Let's make this unforgettable.